Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Nacho Daddy's podcast. This is our sixth podcast. We are here with myself, Taylor Howes, and Adam Redman on the other end. How you doing, Adam?
Hello, hello.
So, how's your coronavirus quarantine going?
Not nearly as productive as it should be.
True, true. I was just talking with my brother about this, and we were talking about yard work and how much we haven't gotten done. And he said, it's funny that whenever we were working, we didn't have time, and we couldn't get things done because we didn't have the time. And now that we're home all of the time and we have the time, we still don't have the time
Yeah.
to do yard work.
Yeah, exactly. When this all first went down, I was like, dude, like I cleaned the whole house like day 1. And then day 2, I was like, okay, I'm going to rest, and then on day 2 I was like, tomorrow I'm going to clean the breezeway, and then I'm going to do the garage, and then by the time I get to the garage, it'll be warm outside and I can start mowing the grass, and like I had this huge plan. I done shit.
Yeah,
I mean that
yeah.
that
I mean,
the kids keep making like perpetual messes in the house. Like I clean up one
yeah.
mess and then I turn around and there's another mess that they made, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's never ending.
Yeah,
Go
we're
back to
running into
school.
that same issue. Like we'll get up and then kind of pick things up and at least get the living room, the living area sorted out. And then by the time breakfast is over, we're like, "Oh my god, I thought we cleaned this room just 10 minutes ago."
Yeah,
It's horrible. Kids
yeah.
are like little mess tornadoes.
Yeah, I have been taking the time to get into cooking a little bit more.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, so I'm not working at all, but my wife still works because she is essential.
Yep.
She's
Yep.
been telling me for years how essential she is, and now the government's telling me how essential she is. So,
Oof,
uh,
not good for you.
yeah. But I like to, have the house picked up and bed made and hot dinner on the stove when she gets home and stuff. Trying to be
Mhm.
a
Good
good,
housewife?
good, good house husband.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah. Housewife is probably derogatory at this time.
I think
But
it's what is it? Domestic engineer.
yeah, that sounds good. I like it.
That's yeah, yeah.
But like, I'm trying to learn to cook new things, and like instead of just giving the kids like chicken nuggets and applesauce every day, like I'm
Yeah.
I'm trying to come up with new things, and like I'm a very basic person. I'm a very meat and potatoes kind of guy,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
like she likes a lot more stuff. And so like I try to incorporate stuff for her too, and like I try to make different types of chicken, or like steak with different sides and stuff, and I'll make
Mhm.
extra stuff for her, that I won't eat, but and it's working out pretty good. I've done some steaks, like I said, different kinds of chicken. Made ribs yesterday. They were
Love
amazing.
ribs.
They were amazing.
So, how do you cook your ribs? Give us the breakdown.
Well, I cooked mine in the oven because we don't have any
Mhm.
propane for our grill right now.
Mhm.
It was a full slab of baby back ribs.
Mhm.
Um, I had this really amazing dry rub that I got from a guy at my previous employer. Like makes, like he's
Hmm.
like it's like a side hustle or whatever,
Sure.
and it's fantastic. You put it on anything. Like we put it on fries all the time. We put it on everything. We put it in our chili. I was like, screw it, I'm gonna try it in the chili.
Mhm.
And so I covered it heavily with this dry rub on meat side, and then flipped it over on the bottom side. Then wrapped it up in aluminum foil tight, super tight, and then I put it into the oven for 2.5 hours, flipping every 30 minutes.
Mhm.
And
On what was your heat on that oven?
300.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then took it out of the oven, and slapped on some barbecue sauce. I would normally use Sweet Baby Ray's, but we didn't have any because the
Ooh.
last time that we bought barbecue sauce, they didn't have any. So we just had the barbecue sauce was great that we had. I don't know what it was. It was some sort of honey barbecue, but I put it on meat side and then put it back into the oven uncovered
Mm-hmm.
for 15 minutes. Flipped over to
Mm-hmm.
the other side, covered in barbecue sauce. Another 15 minutes. Did that
Mm-hmm.
twice. So get nice and caramelized. Then we brought it
Yeah.
out of the oven, and they were falling off the bone, and
Nice.
they were sauced up real good.
So that's pretty much how we do them. I do the whole foil thing, put them in. Our oven only goes down to 300,
Mm-hmm.
so I'll try to dial it down below that as much as I can. But then I'll put them in for 3 hours and then slab them up with sauce and then pop them in the broiler
Yeah.
and just do that once on the skin side. And usually they're like fall off the bone, but this last time they were perfect. Like I don't think fall off the bone is perfect. I think bite off the bone is perfect.
Yeah.
Like if you
So
pick up your ribs and the meat falls off, like yeah, they're tender, but that's not, in my opinion, the perfect rib. The perfect rib should be like you bite into it and it comes clean off the bone, but you still have to bite it. You know what I mean?
yeah, I'm very particular about the consistency of my food,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
like sometimes like I've had homemade ribs before that were uh not homemade, but you know what I mean. Um not I didn't
Not
go to
raising
Texas
this cow
Roadhouse.
myself.
Yeah. But ribs at home that were dry or
Yeesh.
I don't think that they can be too what's the word tender. Yeah, I don't think they could be too tender, but they could definitely be undercooked
Oh yeah,
or maybe overcooked. I don't know. They could be too dry
overcooked.
for
Yeah,
sure.
that's overcooked. They probably didn't cover them.
Yeah.
Right,
I'm
you got to
getting
wrap them like all the way in the foil
I'm getting
and
really
let
good
that
at
steam
steaks
really work
though.
in there.
I don't know that I'll ever cook a steak on the grill again. Like,
Oh man.
dude,
Mm.
I absolutely love a a skillet steak now. I'm all about it.
Like a pan seared steak.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, dude. If you do some butter, cook them in butter with
yeah, that's what I do.
some
Yeah,
like thyme, maybe some oregano, and really put a big fat knob of butter in it, and then sear it, and then tip the pan and scoop that butter up and pour it over the top of the steak as you're cooking.
basting. Yeah, that's exactly how I do it. I don't
Yeah,
use
it's the
thyme and
best.
oregano. Only season with salt and pepper.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
we do get these one steaks from Walmart that Mar really likes. They've got like a spicy rub on them already when you buy them,
Mm-hmm.
and those are really good too. So um, I haven't really tried mixing in anything else. I'm not Gordon Ramsay over here.
No, yeah, I mean that's good. That's one of my hobbies, I guess you could say. I enjoy cooking, um, finding new recipes, and I'm kind of a self-proclaimed master of looking at our pantry or our refrigerator and saying, okay, we've got these three ingredients, and then you know add some seasonings, and bam, you have this super awesome dinner. Like
Yes.
I'm the MacGyver of the refrigerator.
See, I'm the exact opposite. Mar is our food MacGyver. Like whenever I am looking for something to make, I'm like, we ain't got nothing. And she's like, dude, we have half the grocery store in our fridge right now. And I'm like, I don't see nothing. And then she just whips stuff up, and I'm like, this is amazing. How come you've never made this before? And she's like, because I just made it up. It's not a
Yeah,
thing. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of our best food has come from her just making shit up off the top of her head with
Oh
what
yeah.
we had.
Yeah, and it comes from, experience. You cook something, once you learn how to make rice, and then all of a sudden you know how to make 15,000 different dishes.
Yeah. I did do one recipe. I've been doing like I said, trying different things.
Hmm.
I made chili one day, and I kind of ruined myself because my mom uh, has made chicken and dumplings
Yeah.
for like special occasions my whole life, like Christmas and sometimes Thanksgiving, sometimes my birthday,
Hmm.
and it's kind of my great grandma's recipe, kind of. Um, it's also kind
Okay.
of the recipe on the box. Um, but with a few tweaks here and there. But if you follow directions on the box, it's not going to come out exactly the same. But anyway,
Sure.
um, and it's always been a thing that I have to like wait for a special occasion for somebody to make. Mar used to make it for me back when we
You
were.
learned how to make it, didn't you?
I learned how to make it, and now
Uh-oh.
it's like it's never going to be special for me again because I'll be like, I had this on Thursday.
Yeah, that's the same thing for me with chicken parmesan. So my aunt makes the perfect chicken parmesan, and it's a little different because she uses chicken thighs, which are my favorite
Mm,
part of the chicken, um, and pounds them out. It's really easy to make. It's another one of those. It's once you learn how to do it, it's so easy.
right.
You pound them out, you bread them and fry them, and then you put them in a pan with some like spaghetti sauce, and cover them up with a ton of cheese, and pop them in the oven, and you're done. And now, like, I make it just as well as she does. Sometimes I'll put, like, a extra bucket of cheese on there, so it's even
Extra
better.
bucket of cheese.
Um, so yeah, I mean,
Is that a
you
bucket?
can kind of
I'll take it.
what? Yeah, give me
That
that bucket of cheese. Yeah, you can kind of ruin it for yourself, but then again, you're making delicious food for yourself, so it's
yeah.
kind of a lose win,
I
win lose,
win lose.
50-50.
I did screw up some chicken. I was just doing some regular old chicken, like I guess
Like,
frying it. I don't know. Not really
mm-hmm.
frying. I wasn't frying it. I was just cooking it in the pan,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I they were undercooked. I had my heat set too high.
Oh yeah.
And I was overwhelmed and was just like trying to get it done, and because I had waited too long to start the chicken, and I was like, I gotta get it. Yeah, and I cut into them after I took them off, and I was like, yeah, these are cold on the inside, so these are
My
not
favorite
done.
kind of chicken,
Yeah,
medium rare.
they look great on the outside.
Yeah, no, you always got to finish them off in the oven. That's how I do them.
Mm.
Otherwise, if you pan fry like a chicken breast, they get too dry.
I don't know about that.
I mean,
If you base
I
them
could be
like you
wrong.
do
Yeah, I ain't
the
got time for
steak,
that. You got to cook them so long.
no, you
So
don't.
I'll sear them up real good and then pop them in the oven,
Mm.
and done.
Yeah, to each his own.
But yeah, yeah. Anywho, well, that's good. I'm glad that the quarantine has provided a new hobby for you.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it slash hating it.
Yeah, it's always work, but I mean, if you're cooking something
The
good,
worst part about cooking at home is the cleanup. Like,
oh, I
if I could
know.
just throw everything away when I was done,
Yeah,
I would not mind cooking.
yeah. I mean, our stove right now is trashed
Yeah.
from just stuff popping out of the pan, and
Mm-hmm.
we just we should clean up and wipe down after every meal that we cook, but it doesn't happen, and then it just grows and grows until it's a giant catastrophe.
Yeah, I usually clean up after lunch, and then I'll clean up again, like the following morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
Well, there's a couple other things that have gone on during this quarantine.
Yes.
One of them that caught my eye was, you know, I believe we were just talking, or at least I was. I was talking about it with somebody like Dolly Parton. What the hell has she been up to? Um, Out of nowhere, guess who pops up during quarantine? Dolly Parton is. She has a show called Good Night with Dolly, where she is like reading books and stories and um, such and such to children. Um, it's on Facebook and YouTube, so
Hmm.
it's a little bedtime with Dolly Parton. Kind of odd, and I don't know if that
It's
would
actually not
help
that odd.
children.
It's actually not that odd. Because my aunt has my kids set up through a Dolly Parton like subscription thing, and every
Mm-hmm.
month my kids get a new book sent to the house.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think you told me about that.
yeah. So it's actually not that weird that she's
Well, I
reading to
mean,
kids.
it was just weird that it was Dolly Parton. I mean, it just struck me as odd. Not that Dolly Parton's weird. It's just out of nowhere. I'm like, where has she been this whole time? And then here she
She
is
been
reading
working
books to
on book
kids.
things, man.
Yeah, yeah, she's
Kids
getting up
books.
there too.
Yeah,
Like,
she is.
whew.
I kind of feel like everybody is. It's like in this time, you're either an old actor and it's sad that you're getting old, or you're on TikTok and I don't know who the fuck you are.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. TikTok.
Speaking of celebrities having a rough time, well, I guess Dolly Parton's not having a rough time, but speaking of celebrities in quarantine,
With her age.
dude, Elon Musk is out of his goddamn mind.
Mm, for a while, yeah.
Dude, this guy is off the fucking rails.
Why?
Okay.
What's he up to now?
Okay. So the first news that came out, that the first thing I heard about Elon Musk during quarantine was this whole big fucking drama with him and Amanda Heard. She's the chick from
Yep.
Aquaman, the Aquaman
Yep.
movie. She's in other
Yep.
stuff, but that's what I know her from. So,
Aquaman. Yeah.
um, and I guess they used to be in a relationship, and then she broke up with him, and they were friends or whatever, and then she started dating Johnny Depp, and they got married, and then last year or a few years ago, something like that, when all the Me Too stuff started
Yeah.
coming out, she was like, "Oh, Johnny Depp beats me," and all this stuff. That's a whole nother story. Anyway, now apparently she's back with Elon Musk, and Johnny Depp's like, "Yeah, they've totally been shacking up since like a month into our relationship." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm not an idiot."
Yeah.
Okay, so not only is he getting involved in their drama, but
Mhm.
I saw an article today that said, so he started sending out all these tweets that was like, "Oh, I'm going to help in this crisis, and I'm going to get ventilators to these New York hospitals and blah blah blah." And him and Tesla donated, I think it was 40, which to me doesn't sound like a lot, 40, and I'm putting quotes around this, ventilators to a hospital in Queens, New York.
Oh, 4D. Like I thought you were gonna be like 40,000 or
No, 4D.
wow.
Um,
They had to partner up for that, huh?
Here's the thing. They're not ventilators. They're not what the hospital needed. They
Oh my
they're
God.
like, essentially they're CPAP machines. They're slightly different because they have like two airflows instead of just one or something like that. But
Yeah.
what the hospital is short on, and most hospitals are short on, is ICU grade, intensive care grade um, ventilators, which are the
Mhm.
actual ones that like are life support,
Yeah.
not the mask that you wear because you can't sleep,
Is
the
that
sleep apnea.
like the iron lung kind of what they use?
No, no, not. I mean,
Same concept.
years and years ago, yeah. But it's
Yeah.
just basically like your lungs can't breathe, so they're gonna shove a
Yeah.
thing into your lungs and make you breathe.
Right.
So that's what they need, and what he gave them was like sleep apnea masks on another level. I guess they're a little bit more.
The hospital sitting there like,
Yeah,
thanks.
but he's like, oh, I have more too. If anybody like, if there are any hospitals that want them, it's totally free. I'll send them to you. And like, I don't know. I'm glad that he's trying to help, but like, that doesn't help anybody. Like,
Yeah, maybe just give them some money so they can buy what they need.
like there was even a oh God, I wish I could remember who it was, but there was an organization involved in the pandemic that's like, yeah, CPAP machines are like could potentially make things worse. Like it's not going to make your coronavirus worse, but like if you get other things because of the coronavirus or whatever, if you get
Yeah.
issues in your lungs, it might be a problem to use this. So like
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's just, and he's like super braggy about it. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm helping." Like, what
With
is happening?
40, like I still don't understand why he would need to partner with Tesla to buy 40, 40.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. Like,
jeez.
and the machines that he did donate, they're like $800 a piece. The
Oh my
machines
god.
that they actually need are $50,000 a piece.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh. Ooh.
yeah.
Jesus.
So yeah,
Wow.
I don't know what's going on with Elon Musk. I don't know if he's officially lost it or not, but like it's not looking good. The dude's like a PR nightmare.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's hilarious, actually.
And speaking of that whole debacle with him and Amanda Hurt, she got kicked off of Aquaman 2
Why?
because of the defamation and slander case that Johnny Depp
Oh,
put against her.
man.
No, dude, it's good. It's good because the bitch lied.
Wow.
And you know what? There's a lot of people who are involved in actual domestic violence that could potentially not get the help that they need or not feel like they can come forward because this chick decided that she was just going to lie about Johnny Depp when
Yeah.
she potentially, according to Johnny Depp in his legal case, she's the one that was abusive. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's a whole debacle, man. And Elon Musk is like, yeah, give me some of that. I want
Yeah,
some of
that
that
sucks.
drama.
She was mighty pretty in Aquaman.
Yeah, well,
Just throwing that out
she is mighty pretty screwed up in the head.
there. Yeah, it happens. It's always the good-looking ones. Oh, did you know that? It's a little more trivia about the coronavirus. You know the Wimbledon, right? Everybody knows about. All
Yeah.
these tennis fans. Canceled for the first time since World War II
Whoa.
because of coronavirus. Yeah. Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. It's like
Coronavirus is doing so many weird things, man.
yeah, yeah. It's I don't know. It just I went out the other day and I felt like it was like I went to the grocery store. I didn't like go out, go out on
Right.
the town or whatever. But it just felt strange, like a zombie apocalypse or something, or like you were doing something wrong by being
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah. It does feel weird when you have to go somewhere to get essentials or like we we've got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old that are cooped up in a house,
Hmm.
and like for the most part, when it's a nice day, we can take them outside, let them run around the yard and stuff, or go for a walk. But like even the park's closed. Like
Yeah.
so every once in a while, we'll just put them in the car, roll the windows down and just drive down the road, and just to let them get some fresh air.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, we've
if
been
it's,
going out and playing a lot. We've got an acre, so
yeah.
we'll just
Uh, if
go
it's,
swing or
if it's
whatever.
too cold outside, then, we'll just leave the windows up, but still drive around just to get them out of the house. And
Yeah.
it just feels so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
and it's
describe
like
it.
there's
It just,
hardly any traffic out.
yeah, which is good. I'm glad people are taking it seriously, and the people who aren't taking it
Some people
seriously are,
pissing me off.
yeah,
I went to IGA and so they have like the plexiglass windows now in front of the cashier and they have like the tape on the ground that's 6 feet apart. And so I'm at the checkout line and I put all my stuff that it's not like the conveyor belt, it's just like a little desktop and the checkout guy. And I get all my stuff up there and I'm checking out and the guy behind me is like a foot away from me stacking his shit onto the table. And I look over at him and I'm just like, "Excuse me." And I'm like looking down at the ground at the line. I'm like, "You have to notice this fluorescent orange tape on the ground. Are you an idiot and don't know what's happening with the world right now?" And yeah, so I look over and I'm like, "Excuse me." And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was just putting that up there." And I'm like, "Okay." I didn't want to cause a scene, so I was just like, "Okay, well, whatever." Yeah.
yeah,
Cussing him out in my head. And then I noticed that he was with a group of two people and he left the checkout line and then got in line behind me and, was not following the tape rule and then put his stuff up. And then as his buddies are leaving out the front door, one of them is like, and I'm like, you freaking idiot. Like, you understand that people are dying from this, and here you are cracking jokes, thinking it's funny that you're potentially spreading this around.
right,
Like, some people have no sense or no compassion for what's actually happening in the world.
yeah, and like
Sorry, that was
I,
my little
no,
rant.
it's cool. I saw a meme the other day, and it was an old couple that were sitting on a couch and they were watching a TV, and it said, "No need to be alarmed. Coronavirus only kills old people." And then like below it, the two older people were like hugging each other and crying, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, I didn't even think of that. Like, there's so many people that are like, "Hey, as long as you don't have a pre-existing condition, or you're young, you're good to go." Like, I know they're just trying to make people not panic, but that's also like,
Yeah.
there's a ton of people that you're like, "Hey, you might die," so
Yeah.
but we're
Like,
not
yeah, if
really
you
worried
have
about
like
you.
heart conditions or diabetes or all of
Asthma.
these things, you're at potential risk. And you know how many people have heart problems and diabetes?
Do you know how many people have asthma?
Yeah. Yeah, hell, I had asthma whenever I was young.
Yeah, Mar has asthma. My son has asthma.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's scary business.
yeah. Um, the whole tape on the floor thing. I'm 100% for that. I think we should
Mhm.
adopt that forever. Like, that should just be
Oh
a
yeah,
thing from now on. I hate when I get into a line at the grocery store or Menards or anywhere, and some idiot has to stand where I can feel them breathing on my neck. Like,
yeah,
back up. Like, there's no sense in that.
yeah, yeah. There's plenty of room in the line. My wife went to Walmart just the other day, and um, she said that there was a couple that, um, whenever she was getting her stuff in the aisles, they walked like right next to her and like almost touching, and my wife stepped away to maintain that 6 foot bubble. And then whenever she was checking out, she said there was like 3 or 4 lanes open, and the one that she was in, this same couple comes and starts putting their shit on the belt right next to her when there's 3 open lines. Like,
Jeez.
what, why, what are these people thinking?
I
Are
don't
they
know.
thinking? Are they
No.
robots? Maybe they're robots.
I think I
Anyways,
think
it's
people just don't care.
yeah. I think that's yeah. Until they see somebody in their life get sick or die, they just are pretending it's not happening. I guess I don't know.
You know who does care about uh, making the world a better place? Celebrities.
Yes, some
So
of them.
yeah. Did you see that?
Elon Musk.
Yeah. Did you see that video of Gal Gadot and like all of her
I'm sorry. What was that name?
Gal Gadot? I'm not saying it like you want me to.
Yes, yes, I did.
And her celebrity buddies all singing "Imagine" by John Lennon. Now,
Hmm.
I'm gonna start off by saying I love that song. I said it in the last podcast or the podcast before. I can't remember. I said
Right.
in an episode, I love that song. Sometimes when I'm having a rough time and I listen to that song, it makes me feel better. So I get it. So
Hmm.
Gal Gadot, actually, the reason she put this together is because she heard um, a, a trumpet player, I think, was playing the song in like Paris or something like that on the rooftops, to just try to connect people during social distancing. Now that
Hmm.
is touching. That's cool. There was a couple other ones I saw of like a guy that was playing bagpipes. I've seen other things like that. Here's the problem. It's super duper cringy. If you guys haven't seen this video, I'm gonna link to it down below. It's super cringy because number one, there's no plan whatsoever. It's all over the place. Nobody's on the same key.
Yeah.
There's different
So I think one or
tempos.
two of them aren't even singing it. They're just like,
Yeah,
I can imagine,
yeah,
like talk singing it.
yeah. So that's cringy in and of itself. Second
Hmm.
thing that's super cringy. This thing is just dripping with cringe, by the way. The second
Yeah.
thing is there's a couple of people, like you said, there's a couple people who just kind of like talk it out or whatever,
Hmm.
kind of to a rhythm. There's a couple people who go way too far.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
if you're just
And really like
trying,
Beyonce it up.
yeah, if you're just trying to like connect with other people, why do you show off? Like, hey,
Yeah.
I care that there are people dying. Listen to this vocal run real quick. Oh, like,
That's pretty good.
hey, thanks, man. But so that's cringe number two. The third one, okay, let's all take a second to remember that there are people out there who are literally dying from this, okay?
Hmm.
And there are people who are scared that they're going to die from this. The
Hmm.
first line of that song is "Imagine there's no heaven." Okay.
Ooh.
Now, whether you believe in heaven or not, or if you're religious or not, it doesn't matter. Some people need that idea of religion or heaven in the
Yeah.
afterlife to comfort them a little bit that there's
Yeah.
something else.
Help
To
cope.
tell somebody on their deathbed or potential deathbed or who might be scared of dying, hey, guess what? Don't feel bad. But also, when this is all over, it's just over. There's no heaven. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. And then,
Number
like,
four on the cringe list. Okay, these are celebrities, right? Used to being in front of the
yeah.
camera.
Yeah.
Some of them can barely even keep their face in the frame. Like, you know that there's a forward facing camera on most cell phones, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh my
The
gosh.
other thing, they're celebrities and they're like trying to talk about like how hard it is to be in quarantine and stuff like that. Really? You're going to be in a $20 million house and tell me how hard it is to be in
Yeah.
quarantine? Like,
Like, oh man, I have to stay at home in my with my home theater and
yeah.
Olympic size pool and
Yeah.
pool
And
table.
it's not a good it's not fun for anybody. This whole situation
Yeah.
sucks. But I
Yeah.
it's a little bit like mocking almost. Like, really?
Yeah.
You
I mean,
have
the
daughters?
idea is there,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
I get what they were going for, and it's a sweet sentiment and stuff like that. And like, I talk about how cringy it is, but it's nice that somebody's trying to reach out and do something. They just maybe need to think it out a little bit, actually listen to the lyrics of the song. It's an anti war song. That song is
Yeah.
about not going to the Vietnam War. That's what it was. It was in
Hmm.
protest of the Vietnam War. And so, like, to use this as a metaphor for coronavirus, like, oh, let's not go to war with coronavirus. Let's just live in peace with coronavirus. Like, what the fuck? Like, wrong song, okay?
Let's just live with this coronavirus for a
Yeah.
while, see how it
Let's
works out.
let's have no borders with coronavirus. Like, what is happening? So
Yeah.
that was my cringe fest.
So now you showed me a video though where a guy had corrected that song and made it
Yes. Yeah, it was
a little
amazing. I'll
better.
I'll link to that too. The guy is amazing. He's a musician. God, I can't remember his name. It's like Chris Cornell or something like that. I don't know. I'll link to it below. But he did an accompaniment on the piano, and he does a little bit of singing and drums and stuff. To like, he changes the key when the person goes out of key, and like changes the tempo, and it kind of has like a jazzy feel to it. It sounds
Hmm.
so good when he puts the music to it. It's amazing. Like, people
Yeah,
are
I
so
am
talented.
surprised. Yeah, I was surprised with some of the ones like that he was able to fix.
I know, right? It's
Because
pretty
some of them,
awesome.
it's just like, oh god,
Yeah.
it
So
hurts my ears.
after you get done listening to our podcast, click below, listen to the original, and then listen to the remake. It's pretty awesome.
It is.
Yeah, it's
It
cringy
is.
and then awesome.
Both at the same time.
Yeah.
With this quarantine, we have been, obviously staying at home a lot and watching a lot of Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
Hulu, and the like. There's a show that has been getting a lot of buzz.
We gotta talk about it.
We have to talk about it because it's hilarious, it's alarming,
It's
it's
everything.
disturbing,
It is
it's
this show is everything. I've
yeah.
I don't know how to express how I feel about this show. And there's some people who are like, "Oh, it's being blown out of proportion." I can describe to you my feelings about my children. I cannot describe to you the feelings that Tiger King gives me. I can't comprehend it, okay? It is the weirdest, greatest, saddest, scariest, weirdest thing that's ever been introduced to my life.
Yeah.
And it just brings me so much joy and confusion at the same time, and nothing has ever done that before.
I like it's hilarious that like nobody knew anything about this
Yeah,
place
it's
until
the documentary that we didn't know we needed.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And
it's
there's so much deceit and illegal activity and like murder and like all of this. It's all there.
after watching 3 episodes. No, after watching 2 episodes, from that point on, everything else is like, yeah, that figures. Like, episode 1 and episode 2 had some shocking stuff in it, and the rest of everything else is just as shocking, if not more shocking. But because you've already watched what happened in episode 1 and 2, the rest of it you're like, well, that's shocking, but I'm not really surprised. Like,
Yeah.
that is on par and on brand for what's going on.
Yeah, and it's funny whenever we talk about it like with my brother and anyone, I'm like, she fed her husband to the tigers, right? And everybody's in agreement like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Her husband got
I
eaten by a
haven't
tiger.
heard or talked to one person of all the people in the world who are talking about this. There's not one person who doesn't think that she fed her husband to the tigers. It's
Yeah, like
100%.
how does he just go missing?
Yeah.
Like,
Um, there is so much activity after Tiger King came out that the sheriff's department in the area reopened the case. Like
oh, really?
it was technically never closed. It's like a cold case or whatever,
Yeah.
but he like reopened it and is like asking the community or even the nation, the world, whoever, anybody who has any clues or tips or anything to his disappearance. He's like, "Hey, this, now or never. Like there's so much activity right now, we might as well." And it's like, watch the documentary, dude. Like that's all you need.
Yeah. One of my favorite parts, and I don't think this is going to spoil anything because okay, the guy's got tigers and
I
big
think
cats.
I think I think this show is so hot. We can talk about it in detail.
Yeah.
Like
So at
I'll
one point,
hang on a second. Hang on.
someone. Okay. Okay.
If you have not seen Tiger King yet and you don't want to be spoiled, I'm going to put a timestamp up on the screen right now, and you can take this moment to go to that time in the podcast, and we'll stop talking about like all the spoilers will be done for Tiger King. So if you don't want Tiger King spoiled, go to that time now. If you don't care for spoilers or you've already seen it, keep listening. All right, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. So okay. So an employee gets their arm ripped off, right?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
episode
So
2. Episode
yeah.
2, an employee gets their arm ripped off by a fucking tiger in goddamn episode 2 of 7.
Yeah. And
What?
they like the camera's on the guy and he seems not all that tore up about it. Like he's just kind of sitting there like, "Oh yeah, my arm got ripped off."
As a girl,
Like
dude.
he's oh yeah, it was yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
It's been a few days since I've seen it. Anyways, so yeah, she gets her arm ripped off and she's just like, "Oh yeah, shit." And then he goes into the gift shop.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Hey everybody. So an employee just got their arm ripped off by a tiger. So if you guys want discounts or if
I'll give
you
you your
want your
money
money
back.
back,
Yeah.
just go ahead and see me up front. But we're gonna go ahead and close for the day."
Yeah.
Like so nonchalant.
Yeah.
Like this is
So
just a normal operating procedure.
she got her arm ripped off on like a Friday or a Thursday or something like that. Or no, it was like a Monday. And then came back to work on Friday after getting her arm ripped off. Like
Yeah.
not even a full week. And they were like,
Yep.
"Well, why would you do that? Why not take some time off to that's got to be a
Oh,
traumatic situation." And she was like, "Oh, I didn't want it to hurt the park. Like I knew that the
I'm
animal
sure she got
activists
some money for coming back.
I don't think he would, dude. I don't think Joe would give her any money. I don't think he works that way. But that's another
Maybe.
thing. That's the first thing that he says after she gets the arm ripped off and they take her away. He goes and he sits down in his office, and the first thing he says is, "I'm never going to financially recover from this."
Yeah.
Like, really, motherfucker?
That's
That's
his
what you're
first
worried
thought.
about? Lady just lost her arm, bro.
Yeah, dude, he's just nuts.
Yeah.
Like, oh
And
man,
like
and
it you think, okay, that's as crazy as it's gonna get. We're on the downslope now, and it just keeps going up and up and up. It never drops you back down. It just keeps getting crazier. And
yeah,
like it's amazing that none of it is scripted. Like it legitimately is a thing that's happening in the world. Like
yeah,
it could very easily have been a scripted show, easily. And we would have all accepted it well, accepted it. Been hanging out with my 2-year-old too much. Accepted it as
Yeah.
fiction.
Yeah.
But it's completely true, and it blows.
Yeah.
The dude ran for president. Joe Exotic for president. Joe Exotic for fucking governor. And dude got 19% of the vote for governor. What? 19%?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my
And I
gosh.
loved the campaign manager was probably my favorite in the whole show. So the campaign manager comes on there and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know. Just one day I was working at Walmart in the gun section, and Joe comes in and is like, 'Hey, you want to be my campaign manager?' And he's like, 'Yeah, sure. That's my dream.' Like, okay." And then that guy just ends up being stuck there. Like he never, like, even after the all the political stuff, he's still there at the park.
Yeah.
Like, what? Just leave. It's over. Like, why are you still here? I don't.
What I thought was funny as well was okay, so Carol is like the arch enemy, and she's
Goddamn
like,
Carol
"Oh,
Baskins.
Joe's got these terrible conditions that his cats are living in, and cats shouldn't be kept in cages, and they need to be free." And like in the background, she's got a fucking lion in a cage,
Mm-hmm.
like the size of a dog cage.
Yeah, and when we were watching it, I was like, wait, what's the difference between what he does and what she does? And
Oh, hers is a rescue.
yeah, Margot's, well, they're a rescue, so I don't like. They're not like a zoo where people can
That
go in
means-
and see them and bother them and stuff like that. It's a rescue, like a reserve or whatever. I
Yeah,
was like,
that means everyone else pays for it except for Carol Baskin.
I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then immediately, like 2 seconds after she says that, she like lets all these people into the park to see the tigers, and I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
she's doing it too.
Yeah.
I guess what her problem is that she says that they're being mistreated, and like the cubs get handled, and that's bad for the cubs and stuff, which I don't know, so I don't have any commentary on that. But
I don't think so, and I think he had a good point. Like, if you're bringing people in, whether they pay money or not, that's on them. If you want to sell tickets to have people come and pet some tiger cubs, yeah, that absolutely raises awareness. Like, if you go in and you pet a tiger cub and you're like, "Oh, this is the best experience ever," you're going to be on the forefront for, saving endangered species, keeping forests alive, and whatever. So what that he's making money off of it? He's also got to feed the damn tigers.
dude, you know what else he has to do? Drop a fucking album from prison. Dude, this dude's songs are on point.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. They're the greatest songs of all time. I love them.
Oh, Jesus.
Goddamn Tiger King.
Oh,
I love it, man. Dude,
yeah. The nation's falling apart from coronavirus, and Joe Exotic's bringing us all together.
Dude, every time I think about Tiger King, I'm like, yeah, that part was crazy, but this other part was crazier. But that other part was crazier than that. And the other part was crazy. Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. That part was fucking crazy too. Dude,
Yeah.
That one guy who was there for half of the documentary, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we were doing a show. We were making a reality show or whatever. We were doing this reality show." And then all of his stuff gets burnt up. All of his film and stuff gets burnt up.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't have any backups or anything.
Yeah.
Like, that's insanity. Like, what? And 2 alligators lost their goddamn lives for that.
Yeah.
It's the
Poor fucking
craziest thing I've ever seen. I love every second of it.
Yeah,
there was another meme.
Whoever found this and had the idea
Oh yeah.
of, man, we need to put this crazy shit on TV.
Yeah.
Genius.
I saw another meme the other day, and then we can move on from this if you want. But I saw the best meme, and it was Carol Baskin from the documentary, like in the documentary where she's saying, it was right after Joe Exotic said that somebody put cologne on his boots to get the tiger to attack him.
Hmm.
And she says, if you want to get some tiger to attack somebody, you wouldn't put cologne on him. You'd put like sardine oil on their boots or
Yes.
something. And then below it was that guy he like closes his eyes and then like has his eyes open like what? Like
Oh yeah.
like
I
why
saw that
would
one
you
too.
fucking know that, Carol Baskin? Yeah.
Oh really?
Hey all you cool cats and kittens. Go watch Tiger King right now.
I saw one. It's a picture of Joe Exotic, and he's in like this, ultra flary shirt, and he's got his double gun holster, and it says, "This is the genie that appears when you rub a 2-liter bottle of Mountain Dew."
Yeah.
There's
Man.
some really good ones out there. If you guys haven't seen them, just Google Tiger King memes, and you'll have about a good 30 minutes of laughter.
So if anybody is still on the fence about watching this show, which I highly doubt that anybody is on the fence about it, let me say a couple things here to try and convince you. Okay. The show is a documentary that is based on the ins and outs of private owned zoos, including big cats like lions and tigers. The main focus of the show is Joe Exotic. That's the man's name, Joe Exotic, who is
Mm-hmm.
a redneck, gun toting, psychopath, gay polygamist who runs for office and is just out of his goddamn mind,
Yeah.
who has a vendetta and may or may not have put a murder for hire plot together to kill his arch nemesis, Carol Baskin, who is a quote unquote animal activist who also owns a private zoo, who may or may not have killed her second husband actually,
Absolutely did.
and now has beta male as her current husband. There's also another park owner who may or may not have a cult. He's got multiple wives. There's a couple of con artists involved that try to take over some of the zoos, and there's some swinging involved in those people, like partner swinging, and Las Vegas, and drugs, and meat in a barrel.
Meat in a barrel.
And if that doesn't coerce you into saying, okay, I've got to figure out what this is, then maybe it's just not for you.
Yeah, I mean, it has everything.
It does.
Everything. So, go check it out.
It will
For
not
sure.
disappoint you. Okay.
No, absolutely not. Yesterday was a special day to a lot of us. April Fool's Day.
Oh yeah.
And there was a lot of video games that kind of shared in on the pranking of April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
I think most notably, at least for me, Overwatch. they had googly eyes on all of their characters, and even some of the characters' abilities had these completely noticeable
Yeah.
googly
It
eyes.
was it was really cool. Maybe we'll try to hunt down some pictures and put them on our Facebook or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of fan made ones too. A lot of like teasers that weren't true. Like there's a God of War teaser where
Mm,
Kratos is fighting Thor, which is where the newest God of War left off.
right.
Um, and yeah, that was a definite teaser. Guild Wars 2 had giant cats. Um, For Honor. Do you remember playing For Honor? Did you ever play For Honor? I know Cody highly suggested For Honor.
Yeah, I played the free edition or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Well,
was
they
good.
had tiny people. Like your characters were super tiny.
That's
So
cool.
like you were ultra tiny and you were fighting like all of the bad guys were still giant, like normal sized,
Nice.
and your weapons are super huge. So yeah, there was a lot of fun content in the gaming community.
A couple that I saw, Mojang, the people who do Minecraft,
Mhm.
they released a an Infinity patch. And what this did is, first of all, when you signed into or when you booted up um, Minecraft, it would do the splash screen that would say Mojang on there,
Mhm.
and it would sing it like the old Sega, like Mojang.
Sega.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then so that was cool. And then they also added a feature in the game where if you take a book and quill and you write something in it and sign it and you throw it into another portal, the portal changes colors, and if you go into it, it will transport you to any number of infinite realities.
Oh.
And it would take you to, depending on what you wrote in the book, it would take you somewhere else. And like if I wrote something and then you wrote the exact same thing, it would take you to the same place. And
Huh.
like to the same universe.
Yeah.
And like some of the universes were like you'd go in and all the trees would be made of orange wool and there'd be no dirt, or like everything was made out of terracotta, you know, like,
That's crazy.
or all water, it would be just infinite number of possibilities.
That's cool.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, all the players were like, "Yeah, just do this. Like, don't take this out
Just
of the
keep
game.
it.
It's amazing."
Yeah.
So it kind of backfired a little bit. The other one, not as cool, but Rockstar for Grand Theft Auto 5 online and Red Dead Redemption 2 online, uh,
Oh, yeah.
they covered everything in snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
PUBG did uh special where they had like fantasy characters, where
mm,
they had like a wizard and a barbarian and a ranger, but they were all like it looks like college Halloween outfits.
nice.
Like the barbarian is in like a fake muscle shirt with like a helmet with the beers on it, and the wizard is he's in like a bathrobe and
That's
a wife
cool.
beater. So that,
What
that was
what game was
that's
that?
pretty funny. PUBG.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a
Um,
lot of fun in the gaming community. I really like that, you know, how not just necessarily the gaming community, but even publishers can get in on the jokes and kind of
yeah.
poke fun at themselves and turn this into a great experience for everyone.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
forgot that it was the 1st of April, so I'd completely forgot about it until I started seeing all the posts. Yeah. I've
Yeah, I
completely
did
lost
too,
track of
and
time.
yeah, I was gonna try to get some people with some jokes, but then I forgot. So, yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's wrap this up. Good episode. If you guys like what you're hearing, go ahead and hit that like button, that thumbs up down there. If you
Hit the
don't,
bell icon. That way you get notified new content. We
if
are we've said it before. We are working on gaming content. We've already got a few in the bank. So if you want to see us have some,
and I'm working very hard on editing them, so please be kind.
Yeah. If not, again, show us some hate in the comments.
Yeah, please let us know what you're into. We're significantly getting less
Gaming
and less
wise, we don't need
viewers.
to know. We don't need to know everything that you're into.
That's true.
Unless you just feel like sharing.
We need some feedback from everybody. So thank you all for listening. Like we said before, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and that way you'll know as soon as we drop some new gaming content, and you'll never miss one of our Friday Nacho Daddy podcast episodes.
Yeah. Stay safe out there, everybody. Don't forget to stay 6 feet apart, wash your hands, do all that stuff that you should be doing normally, and just keep your chin up. This will blow over one day.
Yep. And if you're, concerned about your health or anything, just remember what Gal Gadot said: there is no heaven.
Oh, crushing.
No, seriously, stay safe, and we love you all.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Cheesy.